happy and healthy. And I'm very, very proud and happy that you make this interview with me. Debra, you have a very special dog sport. For you, perhaps not, but for me and perhaps a few of other people too. It's a special thing, it's dog dance. Would you tell us what's dog dance?
Okay, Marika, first of all, I'm so delighted to be with you and to talk about this sport. The basics of dog dance are broken down into two categories. We have an artistic side and a technical side. And the best routines are when the two sides coincide and are the same. And that is extremely difficult to achieve. So the artistic side means that because we've got music in our background, we have to interpret the music. And that itself is quite a challenge. The dogs aren't naturally going to be able to move to the beat, so we have to help them. And that's part of the training that we do. There has to be a great deal of creativity that goes into the creation of a routine. The choreographic element is extremely important, and that's something that I particularly am interested in. And then on the other hand, you have the technical side, which many people will have seen probably. There are slaloms and twists and jumps of various kinds. And this is also something that requires a huge amount of training. So on the one hand, you have, we do like building blocks. We have the individual components, which are the tricks. And on top of that, we have some artistic components. And then we add more tricks and we add more artistic components. We work from the very small, then we put them into a chain. So you have maybe 3 tricks initially with a little bit of something else that is an artistic move. And then you move up to 4 and 5. And then finally, when you've finished a routine, depending on the length, you can have a sequence of upwards of 30 or so individual components.
Unbelievable.
It's hard. It's very difficult.
It seems, it sounds that you must be a very creative head for develop something like this.
Yes, yes, definitely. And that's one thing that many handlers at the beginning find the biggest challenge, because they say they love to do tricks, or they love to do something else, but they don't know how, they can't imagine how to put things into a musical background. So there's a theatrical aspect to it, which many people have difficulty with at first, but what we often see is that people are so excited to see this sport, to see what can be done with dogs in this sport, that they overcome their initial reticence, and they manage to do something quite creative. And it's amazing, the variety. I mean, you just wouldn't believe what people bring to the table and bring to the routines. It's never a dull moment. It's always exciting.
So if I am not a very good dancer, and if I'm not a very creative head, I can start dog dance with a little help from you or people like you instead?
Absolutely, absolutely. We all have a learning curve. You know, those of us like me who've been doing it since the year 2000, and some other people, you know, who are also very experienced, we all started at the same point. You know, we have to become very aware of our own body movements and how our body movements coincide with those of our dog. Our dogs can be small or they can be large. We can take any dog of any breed whatsoever and do dog dance with them. And that also affects the way that we move. So before you dance, you learn to move. And it's very simple. I mean, you know this because we talked about it last year, you know, the position of the shoulders and all that sort of thing. So it's a creative thing, and it does require not only the dog's mind to be mobilized and its body, but also the people's mind to be mobilized and their body. But we start small. You know, if you don't have any dance experience, or you're not conversant with different, you know, ways of holding your body, again, we start small.
Make mind and body development with dog dance.
Excuse me?
I can make a mind and body development with dog dance.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think what we see is this sport gives us better work and better results in other sports as well, because they're complementary. Once you've started doing dog dance, you might find that your work in agility will be improved. You might find that your work in obedience will be improved. Although there are drawbacks as well, because sometimes dogs love to do a rollover move, and if you put them in a downstay, they will do a roll. But that, I mean, that just shows the sheer happy-go-lucky nature of what we do. I mean, a dog that rolls is having a fun time. Yeah. And so there's a lot of things that the dogs really, really love doing, and they have a tendency to offer them even when they're not supposed to.
That's the mind development.
Yeah. So we have to be very, very controlled, very careful, and make sure, again, this is another thing that comes in handy in other dog sports. We have to make sure that we're communicating very clearly with our dogs. And also, you know, the control aspect is important.
You said the factor music. Mm-hmm. It's the thing we have in no other kind of dog sports.
That's right.
Can you choose the music, or must I take what, I don't know, the judge or whoever gives me?
Can I? Too easy. That would be too easy, actually. You may find this surprising, but if I, as a judge, were to say to you, okay, Marika, you're gonna do this salsa music, you would say, okay, fine, because it's there. No, you have to choose the music yourself. And actually, one of the games that we play, because we play a lot of games, it's really a fun game, is it's called Lucky Dip. And at the end of a competition, we have a number of pieces of music, and people draw the piece of music from the hat, and they have to improvise to this music very briefly, and it's really fun. And you find also that the competitors are kind of liberated, because it's not something that they've worked on for like months and months and months, which is what it takes to do a routine in a competition. It's like, wow, hey, let's see what we can do. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun. So there's that aspect. But and about the picking, choosing, what comes out. It's really a fun thing. Then choosing the music, to get back to your question, is a big part of the work. And I have always thought that each individual handler is best qualified to choose the music, but I'm now finding more and more that my colleagues and training partners are relying on us to choose the music, because it's often difficult. There's just so much out there, and you have to have a really good sensibility about the person and the dog. And people actually often are blinded about themselves. They don't know. And one thing I wanted to say about you and what we did last year was you were talking about using music also. I mean, I think the minute you put music behind Heelwork, there's something that happens. And
something happens with you, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've always done that with Heelwork. When you are, I think the music has an effect on us as people emotionally. and it raises us, it inspires us, and that's happening in our head and in our heart, and then our body kind of follows. And so I think it makes it much more stimulating for the dog to be with a partner, a human partner, who has a lot of energy and a lot of drive and a lot of enthusiasm. You know, one of the things that I hear people say a lot to me at the beginning is, oh, heel work, it's so boring. You know, why should I do heel work? You know? And for me, that's just the antithesis of my experience, because it's always been a joy for me to do heel work. And it may be because it's always been heel work to music that I've done.
In which way is heel work part of dog dance? You said the creative part, the technical part. Which kind of thing has heel work to do with dog dance? Okay,
in the beginning, the first dog dance routines were called heel work to music.
That was the first step.
Pardon?
That was the first step. Then dog dance developed.
Yes, that's right. Yes. If you look at that video that I was telling you about, you will see that. But initially, because it was derived from obedience work. It was, you know, people who were very into obedience. They always had their dog on the left-hand side, and they decided, hey, why don't I, instead of going straight and doing corners and things, they said, why don't I do a figure 8 and see what happens? And so they started doing that, and then they said, why don't I try it with the dog on the right-hand side, which you and I talked about, we talked about in the seminar, which is also very important for the physical structure of the dog. So now, you know, since that started, everybody has their dog working both on the left and on the right-hand side, which is excellent for the dog. And then you can again do figures of 8 with the right-hand side. So that's the way heel work started. And then they started adding things like the famous slalom, where the dog goes through your legs like it was a slalom in agility, and turns and things. And then after that, there was a movement where people were interpreting a story. They were telling a story. So we had people doing Charlie Chaplin. We had people.
My first contact to dog dance was Attila's Zuckerleck.
Yes.
And I think it's Ben-Hur. Was it Ben-Hur?
The gladiator routine.
The gladiator.
Yeah.
And I think 20 or 22 years ago, I was with my first Kelpie on a seminar with him.
You were.
I love the gladiator. Everyone.
Yeah. I'm pretty familiar. Let me see if I can find it. Do I have it? No, I lent it to somebody. I actually translated the Gladiator, his DVD where he taught the routine, the moves. I translated it into French for him. So the Gladiator is something that I know and love very well, and that is an example of how. Pardon?
It's a story.
Yes.
You feel with the dog and with the man. It's great.
Yeah, but when you look at his video, you see the high level of technical training that he had to do. And so this is an example of what became known as freestyle. So this was where the dog was working more independently of the handler and doing distance work, which he did magnificently in the gladiator routine. So that's how we had these two strains of what is now known as dog dance, but we have competitions where there's a category of heel work to music and a category of freestyle.
Okay. And the heel work thing is more in the heel work to music thing and a little bit less in the freestyle thing.
That's the big issue. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Because there's no there's no impediment to putting heel work into a freestyle routine. The rules differ in various countries, but mostly what we say is that in heel work to music routine, freestyle movements like jumps and distance, well, not distance work, but jumps and things, those freestyle moves can only constitute 25% of the routine, and 75% has to be heel work to music. The same thing goes for the freestyle side. So freestyle, you can have, depending on the rules, but generally it's about 3/4 has to be freestyle moves and 1/4 can be heel work.
Ah, okay.
Heel work per se.
Much.
Pardon?
A quarter is much.
Yeah, and so that's why one of my campaigns with people who are starting out in freestyle is to encourage them to add some heel work sequences into their freestyle routines. Why? Because watching only a sequence of jumps and tricks and so on is not very enjoyable. There's what I would call the routines that are like encyclopedias of the latest tricks that everybody can do. So you see the dog jumping off the person's chest, you see the dog jumping over the leg, you see the dog doing this and that. A lot of things happen now with the dog on 2 feet, two legs. The dog is up on its 2 legs. It's it does all these amazing things. It twirls around, it gets back to back with the handler. These can be beautiful. But if I look at what the dog is naturally disposed to doing, the dog's basic action is to move forward on 4 legs. And so that's what heel work is. And when it's done beautifully, I think it's a great addition to any freestyle routine. And it's nice to see a dog.
I don't know if the English word is geese skin, but I have geese skin.
Deep skin?
In German, Gänsehaut. I don't know in English or in French. I have no idea. But that's why I love heel work. It's the natural way for a dog to move forward.
Absolutely.
It's natural, wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do too. I agree.
And think it's so nice. It's so beautiful. He does nothing then going forward, but it's
absolutely.
Natural.
Yeah, I mean, I started watching the English when I began getting interested in this sport, and so I've always watched all of the competitions, and I've been to England and so on for obedience with just heel work, and I can be totally astounded and amazed and finding something absolutely beautiful just watching the handler and the dog doing heel work.
Yeah.
And then if you add, simple things, if you just add, the dog's on your left-hand side and it twirls to the left-hand side and you keep on going and you're at the right pace. This is something very important that we talked about last year, Marika. And I remember you said it was really crucial to find the right pace for the dog. And actually, you said that I was working too slow for my dog, and I think that's true.
Yes, solved it great.
Yeah, no, we have a lot of fun with it, but I think that's also part of where your work as a teacher of heel work and our work as teachers of dog dance coincide, because we do have to find the right pace. I know a lot of the techniques that you use, like the beats per minute and things like that. I think those are very, very interesting. And Debra, we didn't get a chance. We didn't get a chance to go further.
We must pick the idea to do something seminar together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think so. I mean,
for everyone, you are not only a dog dance practitioner. You're a dog dance international dog dance judge too. What was your most memorable memory in dog dance? What would you tell us?
Actually, it was this.
Oh, great!
Yes. I actually wanted to do the World Dog Show in Moscow 2016, largely because of this fabulous logo. I mean, I bought all the merchandise when I was there that had the logo. But I had the great good fortune to be invited along with 3 other international judges and 1 Russian judge to do the championship of dog dance in Russia in 2016. And it was an amazing experience.
I think so.
Yeah, and this was the year when we had already 2 categories. We had Heelwork to music, which was won by Polina Ilina, who is one of the greatest dog dancers in the world. And the freestyle aspect was won by Yvonne Belin, who is also one of the greatest dog dancers in the world. And so they actually, I was friends with both of them beforehand. And you can imagine that judging friends is a very big challenge, because you have to be objective, of course. Yeah. I don't know, if that happens a lot in other sports, but in dog dance, it happens quite a lot. And one of the things we have to learn as judges is to compare objectively all of the routines, even though you may know the person and you may know the way they are going to dance. You have to compare everything on that same day as they are. And so that's it's hard. It's very hard, but it was so much fun to be there. It was fantastic.
Moscow, with all the different countries and the international atmosphere, I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And being in the competition right there, it's amazing because you can see stuff on videos, but it's never the same as when you're actually there.
The atmosphere,
Yeah. And I've been to England and seen competitions way back when, and there are times when the video shows one thing, but you're there and you can hear a pin drop in the room. That is how.
Next key.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's very exciting about our sport. It's the competitions have this element of dynamism, this element of really just sort of electric kind of actions, and it's because of the movements of the dog and the handler. People think up amazing things that they show, and Moscow was an example of that. There were some movements that were shown that had never been seen before, and that's always exciting in our sport. We can find innovation every time we do a competition, and so that's exciting. And then the musical aspect, you're there also with other people, so there's a crowd and people are cheering, and you feel together with the people who are all there. And then the music, you go away from a day of dog dancing, I think it's unlike any other sport, with wonderful music in your head. Yes. And you go home in your car and you're singing all the songs. It's great.
If I have dog dance practitioner on my perfect Heelwork seminars, I always have the feeling that the dog dance scene is a very international scene. They always tell I've talked to, I don't know, someone in England and someone in French and someone in Spain, and we come together for a training in Italy or something. Would you say it's something like a dog dance spirit that connects all dog dancers in the world, or what is it? Or is it because, and I have no idea, it seems to me it's a very international scene.
I think that's true. It started in England, so there's a lot of connection with England. It's gotten very big in Germany. Germany is a very large country, as I learned, because my dog comes from the north of Germany, and it was a long drive. So yeah, pardon?
Only for Switzerland people, not for the Russian people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think we do need to drive very far, because the competitions are in various places in Europe, yes. And so we get to know people from Italy. I've got people in Hungary that I know, that I met through dog dance, and we exchange a lot of times invitations. So I get invited to go to Hungary. My Hungarian friends come here. So there's that kind of international. It's like cross-pollination, which is really good, like the way bees go to different flowers. And that, I would say, would be more the way I would describe dog dance, because we really do work off of each other's ideas, you know, and that's really important for the development of the sport. People in Germany may be doing something one way, people in Italy will do something. The Russians are always amazing us with what they're doing. And the more we can come together and see each other's routines, the better. Now we can do it by video, but it's never the same, as I said. And
but
when we're actually,
again, no?
Pardon?
But I think we will have it natural way to again, no?
Oh yeah, we hope, yeah. But you know, what I was thinking about was when dog dancers are at a competition together, there is a lot of obviously, like in all sports, people are competitive. I mean, that is obvious. But people are also really interested in each other, and oh, how did you do that? How did you train that? And I think people are generally quite generous with their explanations of their training techniques and so on. I remember my first big competition ages ago. It was in the early 2000s in Winterthur near Zurich. And I said to somebody, hey, I really like that music you did. This was before we had smartphones and everything, ages ago in the old times. And I said, I really like this music. And they said, okay, well, give us your address and we'll send you a CD of this music. And I went, oh. Yeah. It's you know, it's a good example, a lovely example of how things can be. And again, you know, there's obviously going to be conflicts and people, you know, not always in agreement with each other, but in general, that's how I would describe the dog dance spirit. It's this exchange of.
It sounds very, very great, Debra.
It is.
Very, very great.
Mm-hmm.
I think we will get a little bit, we would enjoy to try it out, everyone who will hear you.
I hope so. My friend Polina Ilina in Russia says that dog dance should be known not only all over the world, but all over the galaxy. It's so wonderful.
Very good.
Yeah.
As you said, we met first time last year in Switzerland on a Perfect Heelwork seminar.
Yes.
And I always try to find a way to train people from dog dance, because you told it's a little bit different than normal heel work. Normal heel work only on the left side with corners, not curves. But I love on the right side and I love curves. So I love it if there are people from dog dance on the seminar. Do you think that I could help you on the seminar? Was there something for you could take with you?
Yes, and I told you, Marika, I think I can help you too.
Yes.
I think we can have an exchange. No, the thing that I loved every minute of your seminar. And like I said, you know, I still practice some of the exercises. I've got a video where I did this just recently. And the thing that particularly interests me is the beats to music, the beats per minute, because and I would love to work using that method. Because of the coronavirus, all of your subsequent seminars were canceled here. And so I didn't get a chance to pursue that with you, but I would like to go further into that system of beats per minute. Because I think it goes perfectly with what we are doing in dog dance.
I think so. Yes.
And I think also, you know, our dog dance training about the use of our body, awareness of our body, awareness of the dog's position in relation to our body could be helpful to you. So yes. I'm thinking exchange.
Yes, we must do it. We must do it in a way. Yes.
Yeah. You said in last year, you mentioned that I think it was an Italian lady was doing a seminar with music, I think, music and heel work.
Yes, it was an Austrian lady, We wanted to do it in February this year. Because of the coronavirus, we could not do it, but we will do it in 2022.
Good.
And we wanted to call it Perfect Heelwork Meets Music.
Yeah, excellent.
Yes, right. She was a doctor. She's a dance teacher, dancing teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Dancing school, and you talked about it. For me, it's one of the most important things is that the human, that the dog handler can lead.
Can do what?
Can lead the dog.
Lead. Mm-hmm.
That you know everything I do, and it's breathing, movement, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has something to do with the reaction of the dog.
Mm-hmm.
You must know what you do has a reaction of the dog. He will react on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I must be. You told it. I must be very clear with myself for getting the right reaction, and you must get a feeling for being a leader. And I talked to, I always want to say Brigitte, but it's Birgit Glauninger. She's the dog, the dancing teacher. And I told it after the seminar, and she said, that's what I must tell and teach my dancing pupils.
It's very important.
We must do a seminar together. So told moment that sounds as if must be happened something between us.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we're doing now, there are more and more of our dog dancers who are actually studying dance in various forms. And there are videos that are going to come out that will be devoted to the actual dance aspect.
We get an advice to come to the end.
Yeah, we're being told to stop. Oh dear, we're only just beginning.
I think I'm so happy to see you. Looking forward to see you again from face to face, but
yeah,
from Zoom to Zoom face. I enjoyed every minute, Debra.
Me too, Marika. I really did too. It was wonderful to get together with you by Zoom. And I agree, we must get together in person when it's possible.
Yes. Stay healthy and happy, dear Debra.
Thank you. Same to you, Marika.
Bye.
Bye-bye.